And good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of Living World of Darkness, Rage Across New York. In this scene, which will pretty promptly follow the previous, Maebh has gathered up a newly changed cub, given her some dedicated clothing so that she can dress herself inside the Umbra, and has led her back to the girls' cabin. We'll skip the walking bit, most likely, and go right to the process of Maeve opening the door in the weird, echoey shadow world and leading her into the living room, through into the bathroom, and gesturing to the mirror there on the wall. At which point she'll ask the poor blood-stained girl, pretty simply, so you know how you stepped across to get here?
Yeah.
I want you to look in the mirror, do it again, take your time, step back across to the real world.
Don't we need some sort of garbage wrapper for that?
What?
Should just... Yeah, the battery asshole said something about looking into a cross wrapper.
She'll gesture to the mirror. All you need is a reflection. It can be in anything.
Okay. She will look at the mirror and try her best, and if someone can roll for me.
If you want to take your time, you should be able to step across without even needing to roll.
Okay. She has noses too, anyway. So, poof, she's on the other side eventually, after some time, in shock, looking at herself, completely soaked in dry blood and guts and gore and whatever.
Mm-hmm. And Maeve will take a moment, make sure she gets fully across, and then we'll step across actually pretty promptly herself. She can do so with relative ease. And she'll nod approval and offer a bit of a reassuring smile, and then gesture over to the shower. Say, hey, I can get a spare set of clothes for you, but if you want, you can go ahead and take a shower here. Addie and I don't mind.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really thank you. She just looks at herself in the mirror again. I really need it. Really need it.
If it makes you feel any better, it's very common for this to happen on the first time that you change.
It's really common to kill a lot of people.
Yes.
You killed people?
Well, no, but I'm kind of weird. I think I'm one of the only... I can only think of me and one other person who have changed without killing anyone, or trying to.
Okay. Look, I'm not comfortable with his wall being part of a murderous serial killer's church, so I think I need to talk about it after my shower.
Yes, I will set some clothes on the sink while you're showering, and I'll get something ready for you to eat because you're probably going to be really hungry. And I'll go grab Lucas so we can answer your questions and kind of give you the basics on what's happening, because I don't know what was his name, Edward said, but it's not as bad as he made it out to be, I'm sure.
So I'm not a werewolf?
Well, that part's right. It's not quite like the books and the movies, though.
She just looks... It's not even disappointed, it's like some sort of hope was broken right now.
I mean,
And
look at me. Do I look like a terrible murdering werewolf?
well, you said you were one of the few or not, so it's not make me feel better.
It's probably not as bad as you're imagining. Just take a minute, get yourself calmed down, go ahead and grab a shower. I'll go get Lucas. We'll have something to eat. We'll sit and talk like normal people. It'll be fine.
Okay. We'll step in the shower after Maebh leaves.
Mm-hmm. And maybe
After
we'll
taking
pop the
all
door open if it's not locked to leave some clothes on the sink for her.
Okay. Yeah, she's covered in blood and gore, and probably crying while she showered.
It makes a certain amount of sense. She'll take up a vague look of concern, but isn't going to interrupt, and we'll give her a minute to kind of wrap her head around what's happened. And so while she's in the shower, Maeve will do exactly what she said she was going to, and poke her head outside, take a glance around, and realize that for all she knows, he's right there and she can't see him. And finally, with her head poked out the door, just yell, "Lucas!"
From the porch that's opposite of Olaf's, Lucas goes ahead and stirs with his child stick as if just resting from a slumber. Whoa! Goes ahead and translates. What?
Oh, yeah, we already did step across, so it's good. She'll kind of crane her head around, come out onto the porch to offer a wave. Got a new change!
Well, awesome. He's going to go ahead and start to get up from where he's sitting on the fantastic swing. Go ahead and start to lifing himself up by maybe doing a little bit of hop on one foot and a hop on another foot until he eventually gets over to Maeve and says, "Oh, really now?"
And as he starts coming over, she'll go ahead and poke her head back inside and go back into the kitchen to reheat some leftovers. But once he's poked his head in the door and said as much, she'll go, "Yep."
Where's she at?
Shower.
Ah. You heating up leftovers?
Mm-hmm.
You want the venison and steak we got outside?
Maybe not the best idea. Her sounds as bad as Chino's. And she doesn't sound like she's as used to it as he was.
What can you tell me about as much as she's indisposed?
Her name is Guadalupe, and that Edward, the corax, brought her to the edge of Sept. But other than that, and the fact that she was kind of doused in blood, not much. But she'll go ahead and come out of the kitchen to say it because she's just on the off chance. There's not a good chance that she can hear them from in the shower with the water running, especially if she's crying. But she will come out and kind of more quietly be like, "She's kind of crying in there."
Mm-hmm. She goes ahead and nods. Okay. Do you really think it's a good idea for her to go ahead and seeing like new people so suddenly, or is this like, you need me?
It's only you, and you really reassured me after my first change, so you seem like an okay person to have around, and it's two people to answer questions.
Okay. Fair enough, fair enough. I can definitely go ahead and like answer a few questions. Has word been sent to, actually, I know that word hasn't been sent to Olaf. I would have seen something.
She points to a paper bag on the counter, probably full of pork buns. It's the familiar, like, wrinkled up bag. Yeah, he's actually the one who sent me over to collect her.
Oh. And how did he find out about this?
Spirits. I got one too.
Can fetch.
No, actually, bird spirits. I think Edward sent them.
Raven spirits from the corax. Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
While
Apparently.
to speak, Lupita will get out of shower, dry herself, and dress herself. She looks like shit when she walks out. Like buffered eyes because of crying, and she looks like she scrubbed herself way too much to take all of the blood.
So she's like scrubbed herself red.
Yeah. At some points, is even has that red dots when you actually take too much skin off, especially in her hands.
And when the bathroom door opens and she pops out, Maebh will come around to where she's visible. Over towards the sitting area, the little living room area, and go, hey, come on over here and have a seat, okay?
She will walk towards them and sit.
As she gets closer, Maeve will kind of offer, not like put her hands out like hug me, but essentially kind of offer a hand as if to offer reassurance if she wants it. But she's obviously not going to force herself into her personal space.
Yeah, Lupita will actually. She looks like a puppy that was kicked, so she doesn't want to get close. She actually will sit very in the corner of whatever place she is, sort of trying to occupy the less space possible, looking at them.
How about
Right.
this? There should be some beanbags actually over here, Lucas says, as he's going to go ahead and start to move this particular dinner away from the dinner table. That's all like very, very harsh, very, very stark, very, very much we're going to be exclusive because we're sitting at opposite sides of the table rather than we're all going to be eating like equally together on the floor.
Yep, Maeve will end up bringing over the bag of pork buns and set them within her reach, and then settle down probably on one of the beanbags, because, yeah, knowing Lucas, there are beanbags in the cabin.
It's been a while since Lucas has been here, but he had one small ounce of input, and that had to be beanbags. Had to be beanbags in the girls' covens.
Yep.
But is Lupia still sitting off by herself in a very, very dark corner, or does the arrangement of beanbags like on the floor help her out?
She won't get close to the food. She looks pale to the point of someone that is going to throw up.
Mm-hmm.
And she looks at them. Guys, I need to call my mom.
We can do that, but first I want you to have a chance to hear what's going on here so you understand where you are and what's happening, because you can call your mother to let her know you're okay, but we can't tell her about what we are. It's probably safer not to tell her where you are.
I just killed my roommate.
Do we need to send someone to get your things from wherever you were staying?
I don't know. I don't have a job anymore. She just looks around and sort of crosses her arms protectively around her own body.
Look, I know that your first change was hard, and a lot of them are, but the good side of this is that you've kind of inherited excuse me. You've essentially inherited a massive family. We'll take care of you.
I have a family. Okay? I have mom and dad, and I have a brother, and I didn't ask it for any of this.
Okay, let's start off here. Hi, my name is Lucas Mathis. I've been in this situation for, well, most of my life. So if you have a question that desperately is on the tip of your tongue, you can go ahead and ask it right now, right here, at any point during this conversation. But before that, let me ask you, what was your greatest concern at the moment?
She just looks at him. I killed people.
And goes ahead and nods. And how does that make you feel?
How is it supposed to make me feel?
There's no right way and there's no wrong way to go ahead and feel about that.
Look, I cannot make them live again. I can remember their taste. And
Was there a particular thing? It seems like with all of us, there's something that kind of sets us off the first time. Some sort
Yeah.
of really terrible stress or anger that
yeah, I discovered my boyfriend was cheating on me with my best friend, and it was a terrible day, and this douchebag came and said awful things, and I snapped it.
she kind of nods sympathetically.
I liked it. I, I can say I didn't, but some part of me actually did. You know, I hadn't to run from things. I was powerful, and it makes me sick to my stomach.
Well, Olaf is the better one to offer you reassurance on that. I can tell you the reason that you feel that way about it, and I know that you feel guilty for feeling that way, but what we are, we're not just crazed monsters that change with every time we get mad or, every time the moon is full or something like that. But we are warriors. The whole reason that we exist is to defend Gaia, to defend the natural world.
Wait, what?
I know
Are
it's
you
kind of
telling
weird.
me we are eco-terrorists and a church?
It's not a church.
How about we go ahead and take it one step at a time? Let's not go ahead and rush this. So, Lupia, Guadalupe, what was your name again? Excuse me. What do you prefer to be called?
Lupita.
Lupita. Okay. What have you already been told about your circumstances by whomever?
I'm a werewolf. There is a cult of murderous werewolves that has a fortress in Central Park. I can enter another world if I stare into shiny things, and that's it.
Okay.
And I shouldn't step into webs or pissed spiders for some reason.
Goes ahead and nods his head a little bit more fervently of that one, saying, yeah, that's really, really good advice. Okay. Let's try to tackle each one of those in kind. It's true that you are indeed a werewolf. You can shape change as will, as Maeve was describing. You also have a huge amount of control about how you shape change and shift. For those of us, sometimes it comes a bit quicker, sometimes it's a muscle that you need to exercise, but as soon as if you exercise that muscle and practice it enough, it comes like second nature. Second thing, as far as being a cult, we definitely have our own belief structure and philosophy that we we built up over thousands and thousands of years. This is just simply our heritage that we have kept to ourselves, which is very near and dear to all our hearts. Maebh over here is probably going to go ahead and do a bit of a lecture about Gaia, the Triad, the totems, the spirit world, and all that wonderful, wonderful, good bit of news.
She wrinkles her nose a little bit.
She's looking at them with that face when you said about Triad and totems, and she just looks at him with that face of, fuck it, it's definitely a church.
He goes ahead and talks again. Yes, we are located here in Central Park, and there are various reasons for us to be centered here, most of which you'll go ahead and get acquainted with over some time. We're here to go ahead and make this transition as smooth as possible.
How can it be small? I mean,
It is not the same for everybody, this transition from one life to another life. To go ahead and have to leave certain things behind for a while. Some people take it better, some people have a more difficult time, but at the end, the transition tends to happen relatively successfully. And the people that we get out of the transition are for the benefit of all, including themselves.
and what kind of life is expected of me now?
The kind of life that is expected of you right now
Yeah.
to learn. This is simply all that is required of you. To learn, to remain attentive, to listen to people. Nobody's going to ask you to do anything right now, nothing that you aren't ready for yet.
Look, tip bird people. Tip weird one. He said something about you guys appreciating people that like me that can murder a lot of people. So I can really think that you don't appreciate it because we can make cuddle puppies and rainbows and butterflies. So you guys expect me to kill again.
This is a little bit of
Why?
a gape from Lucas. I love rainbows. I love butterflies. Looks at Maeve. Isn't that true? I appreciate those things.
Maeve nods and kind of glances at him and narrows her eyes for a second and looks up, from his shirt to his face and goes, "You're not wearing a unicorn shirt." As if this is a shocking change of events.
Lupito, would you like to go ahead and... Actually, you have not said that nickname. Fuck.
Yes, you did.
Okay. Oh, thank you. That saves me a lot of trouble. Lupito, you wanna... Can I go ahead and show you a few things?
Yeah, I guess.
And Maeve will smile and go ahead and get up for a second and just kind of gesture towards the kitchen as an explanation and head that way to go and pull whatever she's reheating off the stove.
I will be right back. He goes ahead and says, as he's going to briefly go ahead and leave the cabin for a hot second.
And when Maeve realizes he's heading out, she'll call over as she's divvying what's probably, let's say soup. Addie is quite the cook, so there's all manner of fantastic leftovers in the fridge. And she'll ladle that out into a couple of bowls and bring one out and set that as well, just kind of on the coffee table where Lupita can get at it if she wants, and plop herself back down. And again, offer kind of a reassuring smile and say, "I know it seems weird to eat after all that, but we can burn through a lot of calories, especially when you change, especially after what you've been through. I know you don't feel like you're hungry, but once you start, your appetite will probably kick in."
Look, I can't forget what I saw. Right now, I don't think I can hold food.
She'll nod understanding.
Takes the hot second. But eventually, Lucas does go ahead and return. He's carrying a bit of a backpack to himself. And he goes ahead and plants the backpack on the table and starts removing a few things. Doesn't like rainbows. Doesn't like rainbows. Starts removing various bits of clothing and actually a unicorn plushie, as well as a sketchbook that he goes ahead and starts fiddling through. Doesn't like rainbows. Goes ahead and shows it to Lupia. This is the kind of stuff I love, man.
She just looks at things and especially if fleshy.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of pokes it.
It's not gonna bite. You can have it if you want.
He's got
She'll
a
actually
small
grab
army
it.
of them.
I do have a small
grab-
army.
Grab it and hug it. Like, it's safer to hug a plush unicorn than to friendly cultists in front of her, so she hugs the plushie.
Like I go ahead and remind you, I don't know what the bird person said in his totality, but the only thing you're meant to do right now is to go ahead and learn, because it's going to be quite an ordeal, quite the transition. Can you go ahead and tell me when you were born?
I was born in Detroit.
When?
Like, you can just say she gives you a date or whatever.
Yeah, she gets a date because I haven't thought about it. I'm a dumb player.
Lucas
But
goes
yeah,
ahead and...
she has 18.
All right, fair enough. Lucas goes ahead and goes through a few almanacs that he went in and took from his own cabin. Goes ahead and points out, full moon. Oh, full moon.
That explains it.
Yep, that explains it.
What? The moon? Oh, werewolves.
It's how full the moon is determines how much of the rage we have in us, and it also helps define our roles in the nation. So Lucas here was born on a new moon, and he is a Ragabash, and that means that he is more sneaky, more suited to watching and spying and taking point, finding trails, playing pranks. But a full moon is, it's all of Luna, and it means that you are one of the ones who has the most of Luna's rage, which explains why it was such a harsh first change. They are generally the warriors of the nation.
Wait, I'm a warrior?
Let's go ahead and take a
I'm
hot second.
She looks that... I don't know the expression for it in English. It's not pissed. It's a badly surprised. I am a fucking warrior.
Let's deal it back for a hot second. Like I said, we're all here to go ahead and learn. It goes back to a bit of that religious cult philosophy type thing. We here in this society believe that, rightly so though, that the moon goes ahead and corresponds to what we are destined to do in life. Different auspices of the moon go ahead and sort of dictate the different ways we're going to go about life. But that is not always true. In fact, this entire society and this entire world is made out of exceptions to the rule. You would never expect somebody with no light of Luna to go ahead and be this fearsome warrior, nor would you go ahead and expect somebody that's supposed to be even-tempered and measured to be quite a crafty individual. It's all about how you want to go ahead and take this new life and this transition. Like I said, this is a learning process. As much as you got to learn about our society, we are even more indebted to go ahead and learn more about you and where you fit. So go ahead and tell us a bit of a story. Who is Lupita?
She thinks a bit, hugging her plushie. I I was born in Mexico town. If I'm not mistaken, that's the name of the place.
Mhm.
Detroit, and I lived there most of my life. Well, hell, I lived there all my life. I'm a runner. I was I was trying for a scholarship in a college, but I have sort of a record for fights and shit, and it didn't help. So I had to come here and try to get a job and some money to try for tuition.
Goes ahead and
That's what
nods.
I did.
Mhm.
I I wanted to learn chemistry at college.
Were you any good? Did you have the talent for it?
Yeah, I love it.
Tell me how you got into chemistry.
I sort of got in a gang when I was 10, in my early teen years. I changed schools. For the first time, I was out of Mexico town, and I was on the low point of the food chain, so to speak. And the kids there didn't like me much. Perhaps because I was too fucking poor for anything, or just because I was different. And I found those bigger guys and sort of stick with them. And I was called for trying to steal a car. Then this teacher that was actually the owner of the car, Mr. Frank, he actually said he wouldn't press charges as long as I joined the chemistry club. And he sort of inspired me, I guess, to run and, do stuff in which I was good instead of being out of school all the time and being just angry.
Okay. Is this person still around? Did you maintain contact with him, or is this the guy you had to go ahead and leave when you went for New York?
He's deceased. He
I am
died,
sorry. Go ahead.
and I came here looking for change, but fuck it, if I could take it back and not desire for change.
Never go ahead and curse yourself for wanting a new life or wanting to change. I mean, that is a right that everybody has.
Yeah, but I think I wanted it too hard, and now I'm a werewolf.
No, 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 no. Like I said, don't look back at your past decisions with regret. Don't look at your past circumstances with like any sort of shame. This is your life. This is what Lupita was up until, I'm going to guess, like 3 hours ago. Right?
Yeah.
Well, you know who Lupita sounds like to me?
Who or what?
Lupita, Lupita sounds like a girl who reached out for something higher than herself, was willing to go ahead and take a risk, go ahead and make a change and see through to the end of the change. I mean, hell, you went ahead and moved across the continent just to go ahead and have this second chance. I mean, if you didn't have the potential to go ahead and make it work, you would have never even tried. Same thing here. This is not the change that you wanted, but it's a change that I think you could overcome.
Well, no shit, Sherlock. If I don't make a commit, I will die, so I don't think that is a choice.
Yeah, sometimes Gaia plays particularly funny tricks on us.
Okay, it's not a question, it's a request. Okay?
What is your request?
What the fuck we look like when we are murderous beasts?
Blink.
You want a more detailed explanation about the different forms?
We have different forms?
Mhm.
Like we are transformers?
More than meets the eye, I guess.
Maeve will start to stand herself up.
And goes ahead and gestures towards her.
From one end to the other?
Yeah.
Okay. So Maeve will stand herself up and offer kind of a quirky little grin over to Lupita and very slowly begin the process of shifting over to Glabro. She'll grow in height, she'll grow in muscle, and once she's done, we'll look perhaps a bit more capable, definitely bigger, but in her case still looks very human as she has fair Glabro.
She looks at it, sort of tilts her head.
This here we call Glabro. This here we call the Half-Man. A transitional point between what you are right now and the Krynos form. The form that is big, is huge, has very, very big muscles, is capable of probably ripping this entire place apart. So we may want to go ahead and skip that one, at least for this example.
I've done it in here before. I'll be careful. It's
Okay.
probably better to do the whole thing at once. And Maeve will let her see that her hands have, her nails have become a bit thicker, a bit longer. She could, if she wanted to. I mean, it would be kind of weird to be like, I claw you. But it's very clear that this form is more battle ready. Though, she'll nod and say, no, we're gonna do the whole thing. It's better to do it all in one go, especially this early. It's easier to remember.
Okay.
And she'll, again, begin shifting, changing, growing, swelling. And once she has finished, it's very clear that the form that she's ended up in is meant for war. It's large, it's hunched, the arms are long, the paws are clawed. She's got a muzzle full of teeth. Admittedly, Maeve just generally doesn't look intimidating as a person, but this is still something that's clearly a form that's meant for battle. This isn't something that you would just hang out in. And so she'll kind of lurch a bit to accommodate the ceiling. She may end up finally shifting her weight forward and going down to all fours just to make sure she doesn't hit the rafters.
Lucas is going to go ahead and take a hot second to look at Lupita to see how she's doing. If you want me to make a perception empathy test, I will totally do so, good one.
She actually has that man of science look upon her, like someone that is watching a very interesting National Geographic documentary.
Good sign. Good sign.
Or a terrible sign. She might be in shock, but yeah, it's hard to imagine which one.
And for the sake of note, Maeve's clothing is so far shifting with her. It seems to kind of stretch to accommodate her changes. She's still wearing her necklaces and whatnot. So there's that as well, which may, especially if she's looking at it kind of from a scientific point of view, seems really weird. Because the shirt she was wearing as a little girl shouldn't be fitting her as a Krynos.
You have very, very strong clothes, that I might say.
Lupedia, what do you think about this form?
Fluffy murderous machine.
Okay. Okay. That's totally valid. Anything else?
I think I changed to that one. The two lace.
Mm-hmm. That does make sense.
I remember my arms being very, very big and furry.
Okay. How do you feel about becoming something like this?
She'll look at him. Oh, I feel guard. I feel so fucking happy I could die, you know. I mean, it's all I have always have asked in my life. You know, mom, what I wanna be when I grow up? Bigger.
Okay, I get it. I get it. I get it. Suffice it to say that this is not a form that you had thought that you'd be taking when you woke up early this morning.
Yeah, if I had to imagine things that will turn this morning, probably Sailor Moon would be in front of this.
Fair enough, fair enough. There are a few other forms that go ahead and start to give you more of an idea about what we're actually all about. Maeve, you still with us?
She's AFK.
No. Well, while she's AFK, Lucas is going to go ahead and look to Lupita and simply say, well, tell me about what happened today.
She's like, and I'm sorry if I fucking sound rude.
That-
Not sure of anything at this moment. It's my way of coping, I guess.
No,
But
no. You don't have to apologize to me. I know all about it.
I went to work and my boyfriend sent me a message saying we had to talk. I was late for job and my manager had this talk about me being a scrub and that I was always late and that he would take it for my hours and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I was on the frying station and I told about the message for my friends. And she looked at me with that face that, oh, sorry, I'm screaming your boyfriend. You know that look?
Ah,
Yeah. I didn't have much time to think about it because this asshole in a suit entered with his friends, asked for a lot of shit, and I had to help getting his combo ready. When it was ready, he decided it wasn't what he asked. He called me a dumb slut or something like that. He wouldn't pay $15 for it, and that instead he would pay me $15 for me to suck his cock. And then I snapped it.
tell me about when you snapped? What all happened? What did you feel? What did you do?
I just felt rage. I felt this hate, this surge of heat and power, and I jumped over the corner of the counter and I ripped open his chest. I just finished when he was a splotch of blood in the ground. Then I heard the screams. But the one I heard clearly was my best friend's. Then I reminded what she done, but it wasn't me. It was like I was a backseat passenger, and she began to cry. Actually, I ripped off her arms. I shoved her face into hot oil, and I beaten her to death with her own arms.
Let's see. When you go ahead and start describing that, when Lupita goes ahead and starts to break down, let's the crying start. What is she doing with the plushie?
What?
What is she
Sorry?
doing with the plushie?
She's hugging him like he's all she has in this world, because possibly right now it's true.
Okay. Well, how do you react when Lucas goes ahead and slowly outextends his arm, hand palm pointing towards himself and not towards you, as if he's stretching out the back of his hand to you rather than the front of it.
She doesn't actually promptly react to it because she's way too saddened and torn by her own memories. She's
Okay.
still in a bit in a shock, so she don't really react to it.
Okay.
She looks like she's looking across Lucas, actually. Like
Oh.
she's looking at space.
Okay. If you're reacting as such, Lupita will probably feel the back of Lucas' hand upon her shoulder, actually her forearm, let's go ahead and say, trying to be very, very reassuring, but mimicking some gesture that he learned long ago. It's okay. If you want to stop now, you can stop. If you feel like you can continue, I'd love to hear the whole story.
She took a deep breath and looked at him. I impaled my manager with my own arm from behind. I didn't stop it until my arms reached for his lungs. I remember my arms being so big. No, for do it. It is the mage. But I didn't care. I didn't care for anything.
Say that again. I lost connection.
I remember my arms being big. I remember the pain he was in, but I didn't care.
Okay. You saw that he was in pain, but you did not care. How do you feel about that one?
I didn't have control. I felt that if he was weak, he had to suffer, because if I was bigger,
Did
he had
you
to obey
feel...
me.
Sorry, go ahead. I keep interrupting you. I apologize.
Really quickly, while we're playing the interruption game, while they're talking, Maeve will kind of twitch one of her big ears, take a glance towards the door, and very, promptly, almost snapping back to it, will snap abruptly back to her human shape and flop back on the beanbag with an apologetic glance to both of them. Olaf's coming.
Oh. Goes ahead and says, Ola, Trithvossen, Din Father, and somebody you will be placed under as part of his charge.
She nods.
And just like that, the door opens. This a new one?
Yeah, she's a new one.
Any connection to what I got to hear about on the news?
I made the news.
Oh.
Olaf, Raya,
Hmm?
we're still decompressing here.
Yeah, about that.
How many?
Let me think here. As he strokes his beard. At least... Oh, whoops. It's been pointed out to me that I have the wrong lower third up because I'm a bear. Okay, there we go. Yeah, Bob obviously came very professionally prepared. Anyway, strokes his beard. Let's see here, what did news say? I don't know. At least a couple dozen, maybe more. 3 dozen? Something like that.
I killed 3 dozen people. And that she probably will throw up.
Maeve shoots Olaf a look. She shouldn't, but she does. Thanks, bro. Thanks.
Ooh, jeez.
So, thanks?
We just got her to eat that.
Yeah.
Well, now you're going to get... Well, you two can clean it up.
Maeve looks deeply annoyed, but goes to get the cleaning supplies.
Lupita will actually stand, looking sick yet, but no, please let me clean it. My master clean it.
I don't mind.
Young lady, you've had a big day. You probably need to rest. Take advantage of it. Pretty much only rest you will get while you are here.
Maeve grits her teeth and goes to get the cleaning supplies.
I don't fucking want to rest.
Can you believe this? And he looks at Lucas. Takes out no tullies, her first fucking day. Doesn't want to take a breather.
He goes ahead and looks towards the ceiling. Yeah, I can believe. Olaf, she's just getting used to things. I think this one is going to be a little bit more of a job. Full moon, so yeah.
And at that, Olaf actually kind of smiles a bit. Full moon, you say? Interesting.
I've gone ahead and suggested to her that one of the things she ought to be doing right now is learning. She is a learner. That is her job, to be a learner. Isn't that right, my dear Din Father?
This is true. Speaking of which, what's your name, young lady?
Guadalupe, but people call me Lupita.
Lupita. Well, just so I don't butcher your name there, I'm probably going to stick with Lupita if that's okay with you.
It's okay.
Wonderful. I am Olaf Tryggvason. You'll learn the rest of my introduction when we get on to teaching that. Very important introductions. As people know who you are. Now, Lupita. Big day for you. From your reaction just now, I'm gonna take it you didn't know anything about anything before your first change.
No.
Well, think of it like you have started a brand new life. You're a brand new person. Very exciting.
She actually looked at Olaf like he was an alien at this point.
Olaf
Also
doesn't,
very exciting.
Olaf doesn't seem to be stunted by this at all. You get the sense that almost immediately that this is something he might have practiced, either knowingly or otherwise. Seems very set on what he's doing from his body language down to what he's saying.
Okay.
And we will return with said cleaning supplies and quickly go about probably sweeping up the most of it and dumping it, and then going through with rags to wipe up whatever remains on the floor.
Now, tell me, what have people taught you so far?
She'll take a deep breath. I'm a werewolf, part of this church of terrorist werewolves that have totems for some reason. And I'm of the sign of the warrior. That means I have the fate of fighting and learning. And there are bird people. And we have a fortress in Central Park.
Maybe we'll
Most of
look
the
over
stuff being filtered
Everstone.
in through the Farah on
Yeah.
Sept.
Maybe we'll look over and say Edward was ever so helpful and told her that we were a murder werewolf cult.
Ah, Edward. Interesting person. He's alright once you get used to him. Anyway, Edward sometimes means well.
I think his words were that his associates would enjoy someone with my skills or something like that.
Hmm.
As my skills being murdering 3,000 people apparently.
Do not think of it as murder. You're a soldier in a very vast and long war. It is true, sometimes you will kill. Many times you will kill. Most times you will kill. But there's purpose. Greater purpose behind what you do than just murder.
And you
Can
don't
be
want
said.
me to think we are a cult. Okay.
It can also be said that very little of what we kill usually is people. There are, just like there is us, there are other things, there are monsters, there are horrible tainted creatures in the city, and those are what we focus on killing.
This is true.
Monsters? What kind of monsters?
Well, the majority of the monsters, as Maebh so put it, that you are going to fight are minions of an entity known to us as the Worm. The Worm is great cosmic force, now bent from its original purpose in many ways. It focuses only now on corruption and destruction. Could very easily be said that some of the worst things in the world come from the Worm. It sends its things at us. We fight them to protect, well, everything really.
So you are saying there is this evil entity, and we are like the Power Rangers or something, and we have to fight evil?
Kind of. Don't repeat that Power Rangers line a lot. You will one day run into a more conservative person. Would not like to hear it.
Okay.
Now, the proper word for what we are is Garou. The Garou, we come into being to fight for Gaia. spirit of all life. We do this to protect her from the worm and whatever else might be coming our way. But aside from us and the minions of the worm, we're not alone out there. Off in the city, there are vampires, known to us in many ways as servants of the worm. They're certainly wormy as fuck. No hunting of vampires unless previously authorized by people higher than me. There are also mages. I don't really know what they do, but don't hang around with them. At least not... It's complicated. Very politically complicated. You are new, do not hang out with mages. There are also...
Lupita will probably see from behind Olaf. Lucas go ahead and lift his hand up and twiddle his fingers as it's magic.
She actually looks at Lucas and clouds because she's too nervous at this point to try and not to.
And if
Olaf
Olaf
looks
goes ahead
behind
and
him.
looks at Lucas,
Yep.
he's like checking out his fingernails.
Hey, Lucas.
What?
You up to some shit?
No.
You up to
No.
some shit?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. All right.
No.
Okay.
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 Yeah.
All right. And he just turns back around. There are also... Most folk call them changelings. I call them Alfar. I don't fucking like them. Currently... Maebh, what's the political situation with the Alfar right now?
Be nice.
Be nice. But don't
Wait.
accept things from them.
Wait. I can accept vampires. I can accept magic people. I can accept bird people that have the power to shit on us from above. But fairies?
Yep.
Uh-huh. Like I said.
I have to be nice towards the fairies.
It just means that in our case, we are currently in good standing with the Fae of a particular court here. So should you happen to come across one and realize that you've come across one, don't try to murder it is pretty much the thing.
I
Then
don't want
again-
to murder
Well,
anything.
no, you're
Right
fine.
now, I will be very fine if I didn't had to murder anyone anymore.
You shouldn't for a while, anyways.
Anyway.
But he's right. Think of all the little fairy tales you've heard about fairies tricking people. Keep that kind of stuff in mind. They are fickle, and they are pranksters sometimes, and it's probably best to just kind of give them some space.
Okay.
Don't trust them. Don't accept things from them. Keep your distance.
Yeah, I definitely will. Thank you for the advice.
No. Moving on. There are many, many things you're going to learn over time, and it's going to take time. Most important, very most important while you're here on this Sept, not fortress though, you can think of it as a fortress, on this Sept, is etiquette. Etiquette, very important. Breaches of etiquette are taken very, very seriously, to the point where it's even in our laws. Oh. So, starting off, you are a cub. When you are able to take the form of the wolf, your proper greeting to pretty much anybody is to roll over onto your back and show submission until you are so acknowledged as to be able to rise again. And when you meet someone for the first time ever, your introduction, very important. Starts with your name, then your rank, which you have none, so don't add that yet. and then your auspice, and then your breed. So, for instance, I will give my full introduction, even with all the extra stuff, so you can see what it's like. I am Olaf Tryggvason, son of Ragnar Tryggvason and Lily Rends the Flesh, Fostern Homed Philodox of the Fenrir. Now that end part, I didn't put that in because you don't have a tribe yet. But when you join a tribe, you'll be able to add that in.
Okay. So I'm Guadalupe Flores, cub and warrior and human.
Word we use is Homid. So you would be Guadalupe Flores, Hamid Arun.
A helmet, a rune.
Yes,
Okay.
very good.
There are different flourishes that you could go ahead and give, some of which are easier to remember. As such case, you could probably say born under the full moon on 2 legs, and they'll equate with the same information. It is also a proper greeting.
Oh, yes.
There are people born in 4 legs.
They're called wolves.
Wait, so some of the werewolves are wolves.
Garou. And yes.
Hmm.
Now, some of us are born Homid, like me. Some are born from wolves, like Kotori Raya. Another important thing talking with people. If they're above you in station, which everybody but a cub is, unless they tell you otherwise, you address them as Raya. I will let it slide for now. It is your first day.
It's like saying sir, ma'am.
Thank you.
And in
Hello.
fact, you should
Raya.
probably go ahead and say sir or ma'am in public. Raya is a word that only we use.
True, true, true.
Okay.
You know what, Lucas?
Hmm?
You're Ragabash. You explained to her auspices, yes?
We haven't explained auspices, yes. We were telling her about the different forms, actually, and going over the day as she saw it.
Different forms important for fighting. But
Mostly just to explain what she went through.
yes, with the compassion and all of that.
It's
tell you.
important.
It is important to you, but as you well know, I respect tradition. I understand your tribe. I do not blame you.
Mavis returned to looking vaguely peeved.
At this point, she will actually look from Olaf to Lucas and to her plushie and to Olaf again.
What Lucas is going to do here for me, since he is so helpful, is he is going to explain to you the importance and techniques of secrecy amongst our people. Can't go letting the hoi polloi know who we are.
Okay. He goes over his head and takes a bit of a stinter stage. Lupita, I'm going to guess you probably never heard about any of this when you woke up this morning, right?
No.
Okay. There's a very, very important reason for that, is because we have been trying to keep that information well out of reach of general public. In fact, we want to keep our society completely and utterly secret, away from mortal eyes and preferably away from our enemies' eyes. We call this the veil. The veil is a veil of secrecy. The veil is part of our very laws. The veil is both our sword and our shield in these modern times. We are forbidden by tradition, law, and just plain common sense never to reveal our nature or our society to the greater mankind. This is especially hard in a place like this, where there are weaver eyes everywhere, but we make do as much as we can.
Maeve leans over when he says weave her eyes and says, cameras.
Okay. And so much information.
I know.
I'll-
Suffice it to say... Actually, go ahead. Sorry, I keep interrupting people. I apologize.
I will do more lessons with you to help you remember and learn all these things in detail. Don't stress too hard about remembering everything. The important thing is to remember the laws that you're probably going to be taught since Olaf is here, and to remember that most of these new words you're learning, they're words that are just for us. They're words that you can't use anywhere else. When you're outside of the park, when you're out even in the park and out of the protected areas like this.
And
Hmm?
what should I tell my mom?
Do you have... Could you say that you were out visiting friends? Just any logical explanation you can have to where for a while you won't be able to see them. Because at least until you've learned certain things, it's probably safest that you stay here, learn to get proper control, learn the basics, and then many of the Cubs have still managed to go to school, have still managed to do perfectly normal things. You may, in light of being under the full moon, you may have to do online classes. I don't know. She kind of looks over to Lucas and makes the am I doing this wrong kind of face. Because some people now that you have come fully into what you are, will be afraid of you. And it may be harder to do your normal classes.
I believe I am more than qualified to explain the effects of the curse.
Well, just first, we can do that, but at least for now, if you need to call your mother and you need to tell her something, give her an excuse as to why you have to be away for a while, or if you don't see them very often, just call and tell her, hey, I got out and I'm safe and I'm doing my normal thing. Just anything that explains not being able to really be in touch besides phone calls.
Okay, can you guys lend me a phone so I can call her?
Yeah, sure. Pops out a burner phone from his butt.
So graceful.
Yeah, she'll
We
call
can
her
go
mom.
ahead and make that call a little bit later. Just go ahead and hammer home the secrecy. What
Okay.
you learn here is just for us and this society. The words you learn, the history you go ahead and gather, the social structure that you're going to go ahead and place yourself in, entirely just for here, not for the outside world, not for outside the park people. The abilities that you learn, and you will learn some fantastic gifts and abilities. Do not ever, ever, ever showcase them in front of anybody, except for us, the park people. Sound good?
She look at Lucas. Everyone I knew here is dead. I think it's safe to say I won't show them.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Gives 2 thumbs up. Cool.
Same goes for your other forms.
Okay. Olaf, Ria.
Raya.
Good first shot.
Now,
Just a clear thing. I will always speak that differently.
You have an
Uh,
accent. We
oh.
appreciate it.
Olaf
Yeah.
doesn't have a leg to stand on. He says everything weird.
oh yeah, that's part of the joke of the character.
Yeah, it's just
Hey, Olaf, say Garou.
I don't know how to speak things in English.
Oh no, I'm
Made
sorry, dude.
Oh, no, like, it's totally cool.
Okay.
I mean, Olaf has an accent in character and still can't say the stuff right, so
Oh, yeah,
it's all
he-
good.
Yeah, that's part of it. Is like he comes off like a huge jackass because then he turns around and mangles the rest of the Garou language.
Okay, so show my belly. don't do shit in front of people. Be nice to the fairies. Everyone
nice
is
to
my
fairies.
superior.
Mm.
Am I forgetting something?
There is much yet for you to learn, which is why when you are not in here in a warded area, and the other two here will show you where all the warded areas are, you must be accompanied by one of rank. In fact, for now, you will stick to warded areas unless you're in the Umbra, which I imagine is how you got here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm
Go ahead.
in a curfew, and
Yeah, that's actually a good way to go ahead and look at it.
Pretty much, we want you to stay in
Great.
areas where we know you're safe. And then on top of that, right now, like you saw on the news about how they were putting new security in the parks.
I don't actually follow much the news.
Basically, there's a security force now inside the park itself. So while there are areas that we have that people just don't walk into that are safe for us to be in, when you leave those areas, it's best to go to the other world through a mirror and then use the Umbra to travel from one of those places to another of those places. Because those people probably know what we are and they are trying to find us. And for you and me, it's safest to just not be seen by them at all.
Yeah, I definitely won't try to run away or anything like that.
Good.
There
Now,
are worse things out there than there are in here.
Oh, you betcha. As you gain experience, you will have greater world to move in. As you gain experience, you'll be brought on missions. Get a chance to prove yourself, make a rank, and then at least partially strike out with some independence. And he glances at Lucas,
But
watching you.
you can't watch me all the time.
Smirk.
Anyway,
Just looks at them confused because right now it's very, very weird that she has to grow in rank. These weird cults. So she can walk freely and she has to combat minions. So yeah.
Olaf, we still have the precedent that she can be accompanied by those of higher rank. Looks at Lupita. If you want to do something, feel free to go ahead and bang on my door. I have a cabin like 2 doors down. If you just want to go out, get some air, come knock on my door. I'm responsible.
Lucas, you use your best fucking discretion.
Absolutely.
The curse, and she is now a rune.
I know, Olaf. I know.
Okay.
Anyway,
Thanks.
it is
I
best
will
I
try
go
not.
first.
I will try not to fuck up things too much.
Good. Now,
Olaf, Raya, she is a cub. She is allowed to make mistakes. This is a time for learning.
and Olaf turns to face Lucas, and Lucas can see the 3 scars
Oh yeah.
across his face.
Mm-hmm.
I understand this. You understand this.
I understand this, and I guarantee you that she will not go ahead and make the same breach of etiquette.
Wait, what breach of etiquette?
Maeb's gonna kind of point, super rude-like, at Olaf's face. You see the scars on his cheek there?
Yeah.
Well, one of the cool things about being what we are is that we heal. We heal very quickly, and we heal almost everything. The only thing that leaves scars like that is silver. And one of our brothers, you'll meet him, Nicholas. He's still a cub himself, as well as another brother, Albert, who has since left to join another Sept, have made pretty gross breaches of etiquette and deeply insulted a very, very conservative member of the nation. And because what they did was so very out of line, and Olaf here is our den father, and as such he is responsible for us. Not only were they punished, but Olaf was punished, and the rest of us even were punished because of how horrible the things they did were. I don't think you have to worry about making a mistake like that. You're not as foolhardy as they are. But it is probably good to keep in mind that if you, especially now that you understand how an introduction is done and how to roll over and all that, do it. Always do it. Because if you don't and then you talk back to someone who's of extremely high standing, they're not going to kill you, but they will definitely make you regret breaking the rules and treating them with disrespect. It's very hard to live as long as some of them have in our nation. And they deserve the
Okay,
respect of
you
their
you guys told me about rolling on my belly, but what if I'm not changed to the wolf?
Um,
It depends on where you are and who it is. I mean, we will always be in veil protected areas or in the Umbra where people can't see us. So even in your human form, you can go down on your back and lift your chin up so that you're baring your throat and belly. It still counts, even if you're not a wolf. And honestly, at the very least for now, if you're sticking with one of us, you can look to us and copy what we do. But if you're caught out alone and you meet someone new, just do it. It's better to be safe than to be sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thanks.
you will
That,
deal with more advanced things later on. In fact, you are lucky. In a few days I have to ride out of here. You will be given substitute den father, much more forgiving than I. Very easy introduction.
Beam.
okay.
Don't worry about it. I mean, I'll be here with you too. I mean, you'll essentially be staying in here with me probably for now. And it's just you, me, and Addie. So we'll be here to walk with you wherever you need to go or answer questions or just help you out.
Thank you. I know I'm saying that a lot, but thank you for you all for saving me to go to jail.
It's quite all right. I mean, however you want to feel, go ahead and feel right now is the way you go ahead and feel. It's
I
sort
will,
of like that old book, wherever you are, there you are.
Well,
I will put it this way. The things that happen during first change, you get a lot of leeway. A lot of leeway. Afterwards, self-control is expected. You see,
okay.
you now carry with you a great deal of rage, older and stronger than any anger you've ever felt in your life. At times it will test you. And if you do not pass, you will attack friend and foe alike. Uncontrolled, wild, the berserker. This is not a good thing.
Yeah, it's definitely not something I want to. I don't ever want to feel that again.
You'll feel rage.
You'll learn how to deal with it.
Yeah, I'm not talking about rage. I'm talking about not feeling remorseful while I'm doing it, or killing innocent people.
Ah, that might be a much more advanced lesson. Suffice to say that you are in the time of learning, and this is just one of the many things that you will go ahead and learn. And there are many people around the Sept that are willing to give you a bit of perspective. They've been in this life for a little bit longer and have experienced things that are beyond you, but are more than willing to share their wisdom. It gets easier.
A lot easier.
I hope so.
Nod, nod.
Everyone's first change is different. For instance, my first change, I exploded a moose.
You exploded a what?
A moose. Big, has antlers. Really scary when they're mad.
Oh, that
Hmm.
you exploded one?
I really don't have a better way of describing it. It got real mad at me because I made the fool mistake of trying to hunt it with a bow. Thought I was hot shit. It decided we are fighting now, and then we were fighting, and I was not winning. But the rage took me. I took my war form, hit it the once, and meat and blood everywhere.
The one thing that you will learn is your rage may safeguard you, may protect you, may call you to act when your life is in danger.
True. The only time that I would ever just fully excuse a berserker rage, depending on the circumstances.
So it's like instinct.
Yes. It's your instinct to live.
Okay.
When you are near death, the rage may very well bring you back from the brink. It's very, very hard to put Narun down. Then again, it's also very hard to put me down. He chuckles. No. They have not explained to you auspices except your own. The warrior, the Arun, full moon. My favorite moon. Me, I am Philodox, a lawkeeper amongst our people. I mediate disputes, I
Maebh abruptly
decide on the law.
pops up and runs off.
What the? And there she goes.
She will turn in short order with the glass ornaments she actually made ages ago, and will set them out on the table from new moon to full moon. And they're just simple little glass discs, like stained glass style, all the way from new moon, crescent moon, half moon, gibbous moon, and full moon, just because she's noticed that it seems to be a lot easier for people to remember all of this when there is a visual aid involved to tap as they're talking, or to indicate as they're talking. Especially because some people like to forget to mention the just traditional name of the auspice. So she'll just set those out on the table.
Now, mostly, I decide on and execute the law. I am judge, I am jury, well, me and my peers, obviously. And I tend to carry it out as well. Though, for very, very important case, one higher in than ranked than me, they take care of it. But for minor things, things within my rank and purview, I tend to be the one who handles the whole thing. Now the almost full moon, the gibbous moon, that is Galliard. The Galliards, they sing tales. They keep our histories, they tell our stories, they sing us into battle. We are oral people. This is how we keep our history, it is how we keep everything. Very important job. Then we get to Theurges. Oh,
Okay. She looks at the glass, the glass little moons.
Mhm. And Maebh will
And
be pointing to the appropriate one as he's talking, if it helps.
little nods, paying a lot of attention. Thinks this is important, apparently.
then there are the Theurges. They have wisdom. They speak to spirits. Now, you were in the Umbra, yes?
Yeah,
You saw all kinds of things, yes?
yeah, lots of spiders
Ah, the spider spirits.
and wind spirits. I believe they were flying and swirling around.
Hmm. I will put it this way. When there is great concept in the world, a thing that has an embodiment in thought, that thing is usually represented by a spirit in the Umbra. Spirits, I know little of them really, but I am a Theurge. They do not think the way we do. Their food is not our food. Their lives are not our lives. But we often rely on alliances and agreements with them. And the auspice we rely on to broker those alliances and agreements, that is the Theurge. Maebh over here is a Theurge. She's brokered some fine deals.
Noddle, noddle.
And then we get to the new moon, also known as the moon that's job is to try to piss me off constantly.
Grin.
No.
Lucas over here is the new moon.
Okay, that also makes sense.
They are known as Ragabash. Now, the Ragabash has two roles. One of them is the questioner. They are there to constantly question and challenge, try to find the best way to do a thing through questioning. There are two Ragabashes that are constantly up my ass about this. One of them is Lucas, and the other is Garrett. Garrett lives by that big boulder across the way. He's an interesting person.
Right now, I think everyone is interesting.
Got the curiosity in you.
I will think it's more like I can't maim and kill them, and I can only meet those guys, so I think everyone is interesting. Yeah.
That's certainly a way to think about it, young lady. Certainly a way. The other purpose of Ragabash is a scout. They find the paths, they see things, find them out, sneak around. Lucas over here, very talented scout, very talented.
Noddle.
This is part of the reason why when I do form a pack, he's gonna be my Ragabash.
Lucas just goes ahead and let that slide and hang in the air for a hot second.
Maebh looks very pleased with herself. For some reason.
She doesn't really understand at this point what is a pack, so she cannot feel a lot about it. So
Shit.
mostly she just thinks about it a bit I'm sort of sneaky too, so I don't know if it helps for something, but
All skills are good skills.
Yes. Remember, when you're in a group, the group is only as sneaky as the least sneaky person, so it pays to at least be a little sneaky.
yeah, I'm very, I guess.
Good. Good. I will explain packs another time. They are not for you yet. They are the base unit under which we all operate. You might not have many things, but Garou, we run in packs.
Like wolves?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. That makes sense.
Now I know I've thrown a lot at you, quite a bit. All for one sitting too. Very patient you. The last thing that we're going to cover right now is the laws of our people. Very important. If you break the law and I find out you broke the law, then I got to go on with the punishment, and we just don't want to go there. So instead, I'm going to teach you the law, and the others will help you along with other things.
Okay.
Now the laws as a whole, they're referred to as the litany. The litany, very important. Cornerstone of our civilization even. Very, very hard for Garou to run along without the litany, though there are some who would disagree. I'm not one of them. Now first, Garou shall not mate with Garou. This means that if you are a Garou and someone else is a Garou, no touchy.
Okay. But
There is... Oh, go for it.
why?
The reason why. The only thing that is ever born from the mating of a Garou and another Garou is what is known as a metis, the other breed. It's not a good thing. Now the metis, it is born blameless. It is not its fault that its parents ignored the litany. But their lives begin and often end in blood. They live on with great pain, either physical or in their head. Their life will always be hard, even after they have their first change and get a hold of their minds. Not a good thing to be a metis. Very sad.
They are born in the form that you took when you lost control. And oftentimes they will kill their own mothers because their birthing is very violent.
Now that...
And she has a very scared, not scared, but yeah, pretty much on her face because
Now that being
this
said...
sounds scary.
Oh yeah, it's totally terrible. I expect you to show your Metis brothers and sisters the respect they are due as Garou in the nation. Some people, they look down on the Metis. I think this is bullshit. You look on people for their merits, not their birthing.
Well, I was looked down for the circumstances of my own birth, so I don't think I can judge someone by their own.
Maebh gives a firm little nod.
Okay, good. I mean, bad that someone did that to you. I will go and I will beat them later. But good that you don't think like that. The other. Oh, go for it.
No. Go on.
Okay. Combat the worm wherever it dwells and wherever it breeds. Now I already explained to you the worm is our enemy. This law simply means that You cannot let a worm thing go on and exist. Now, some people, they interpret it, you must rush the worm head on wherever you find it. I do not think this way. There is nothing wrong with scanning a situation, figuring out exactly what you have to do, and if you don't have the means to do it, going back, getting the means to do it, and then coming back and doing it. You have to fight, but you don't have to fight dumb.
So, fight smart.
Indeed. Fight smart, but it's your duty to fight.
Okay.
And the next one, and this is especially important. Respect the territory of another. As you live now, part of you always be Hamid, but part of you now is also the wolf, and wolves are mighty territorial. This is reflected in the way the nation is. Other people, they will have their territories. You must show them respect, especially while you're within their own territory. This is often expressed between septs. There's more than one sept in the world. When you're entering new sept, you give your howl of introduction in the Umbra, and you ask to be received. And the guardians, the defenders of the sept, they will come and receive you. You show courtesy while you are on their lands. Just don't be a dick.
Okay.
Now the next one, this is mostly for challenges. This is a way we have of deciding things. Accept an honorable surrender. This would mean if you are in a challenge and life and limb are on the line, and the other person surrenders to you, Olaf, your claws are so great, I surrender. I am duty bound to allow them to surrender honorably. Same goes for any challenge, really, but it is most pertinent when you're about to cut someone's head off.
Makes sense.
And the next one, submission to those of higher station. The Garou nation lives by rank. Submit to those higher than you. It would mean that if I, as a Fostern, second rank, were to give you an order, unless you had a real good fucking reason that you explained to me, you obeyed that order.
Okay.
The next one. Respect those beneath ye, Aura of Gaia. This thing gets thrown around more than confetti at the fucking May Day parade. A lot of people, they like to interpret it as do not be a complete asshole to those beneath you, can't beat up on them and all that. In reality, what you are doing is respecting things as another creature of Gaia. I go out as wolf, and you will too. We go out, we hunt the deer, we eat the deer, rip the shit out of it, and then we eat it whole. Well, not in one big swallow, but you get the idea. And then we say proper prayer, thanking it for doing its duty as prey as a creature of Gaia. But it pays not to be an asshole. This is pertinent with kinfolk. They carry our sacred blood, but they are as they were when they were born. So our Hamid kinfolk, they're biologically basically just humans. But they have the Garou blood. They do not enter what is known as delirium, which a lot of people were doing around you, your first change, I bet. When they see us in our war form, they help us, the part of the nation, citizens. Respect those beneath thee also comes with their treatment. Don't be an asshole to them. You are above them in rank even as a cub, but don't be a dick.
Yeah, I don't plan on being a dick with anyone. unless they are addicted to me first.
Not shown weakness. Good.
Unless it's from higher rank, then I will wait until I'm the same rank to be addicted to them.
Nod. Vigorous nodding.
Oh, I have my own plans along those lines, but that'll come when that'll come. Now the next one, very important, especially when you're, say, out hunting a deer. The first share of the kill to the greatest in station. Basically, top rank on scene gets first pick. Now this could be for battle trophies. This could be for whatever cut of meat you happen to like on the animal you have hunted. Could be for a lot of things. But first one eats first.
Okay.
Now the next one. And I swear this was made into a law because it was a problem in the past apparently. You shall not eat the flesh of humans. Plain and simple.
At that, she puts her hand to her mouth, and I don't think it's needed to say much more.
Oh, you poor thing. We're very forgiving with first changes. You weren't in control of yourself. You'd never even been Garou before or anything like that. Don't think too hard on that shit. Just don't do it in the future, alright?
She just nods. She's not very sure what she did or she did not, and what will be categorized as eating a human. I mean, she took very big bites, but didn't swallow. But I don't think this is the moment.
No, bite attacks don't count.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, but she doesn't know, so whatever.
Yeah, maybe we'll poke up and say, just so you know, it's not. I mean, we bite things when we're fighting. That's not eating. There is a particular thing that will sometimes make you lose control even worse, and then you might try to eat people, but at that point, it's a completely different thing, and it's very, very rare. So don't stress about it, but don't think that you can't bite your enemies because of it.
Okay.
Just don't swallow.
Now the next one, which has been explained ad nauseum to you without you even knowing it, the veil shall not be lifted.
Snort. Hey Olaf, say veil.
Veil.
Okay.
Anyway, everything we explained to you about secrecy, about keeping the knowledge of our people from the outside, especially the normals, very, very important, bound in our law. Very harsh punishments are given out for breaching the veil. Oh shit, I said it a different way.
Aha!
You two are fucking growing on me. Anyway. Don't do it. Keep the secrets.
Okay.
Now the next one, and this is contentious amongst all the tribes. Do not suffer thy people to tend thy sickness. Basically what it means, you get to a point in your life where you are too weakened, perhaps because of age, perhaps because of some sort of horrific illness, perhaps because of many things, to carry on proper. And that burden starts falling on other people, starts pulling back the war effort. That is against the law here. My take on it, you give person a chance to prove themselves. If they do, obviously they were not so weak. Other people's take on it, well, death is always on the table. You'll get a lot of perspectives about that particular law. But it's a law nonetheless. And also one that I am uncomfortable with the frequency of it being thrown around. Is grave thing, heavy consequences. I hear it too much. Moving on. The leader may be challenged at any time during peace. Now, technically speaking, we are always at war. But there is special times declared. Peace is technically what we're in now. Less active war. What this means is that at any time during this less active war, this supposed peace, if you are within the proper restrictions of rank, one rank divider, except for you as a cub can't do it yet, but when you are ranked Garou, let's say you are Cleath, the first rank, and you want to challenge someone you have a bone to pick with over something, your leader, and he is Fostern. Yeah, challenge the shit out of him. Go for it. Just remember that the results of all challenges are final.
Okay.
The other law, the leader may not be challenged during wartime. Believe me, you will fucking know it when we are in active war. It will be declared very, very loudly, probably by the warder Teeth of Titanium Raya. He has a very distinctive voice that you cannot possibly fucking mistake for anything else. He is also the loudest person I've ever met in my entire life. You may not challenge the leader during war. Leader can be defined many different ways. Many people argue the litany differently. We argue it. If someone is like a leader of a thing you're doing, or you're alpha in a pack, things like that, that is what is referred to. Now, the last one. And pay attention because this is very serious. You shall take no action that causes a cairn to be violated. Now, you don't know what a cairn is. It is your first day. You will learn what a cairn is, I fucking promise you. Short version, it is the sacred wellspring from Gaia's own breath that provides us with our power, with life in the world, with all that is sacred and pure. We base our septs, as you call them, our fortresses, around cairns. Very important. Very important.
So it's Gaia's place of power?
Yes. Yes.
Oh.
They can
Makes
be
sense.
violated by forces external. They can be violated with energy of the worm. They can be violated with energy of the weaver. The thing that makes all the spiders and the webs.
This
They
is
can-
why when you first came here, I had to do that weird thing with the stick. It was basically taking any worm taint from the city and cleaning it off of you so that you could come in safely without risking tainting the cairn.
I swear I thought it was some sort of rite of indoctrination into the Great Werewolf Church or something.
It is something we do a lot.
Okay.
Please stop calling it a church.
Yeah, now I know it's not a church, but at the moment it did make sense.
Fair enough. Edward, he has a way of talking. Anyway, they can even be violated by just the introduction of too much wild. Never heard of it happening, but theoretically it's possible. You might want to ask like a Theurge about that kind of thing. I am not as I'm not as knowledgeable. Regrettable, but I'm just not.
I'll do a
Either.
deeper lesson later.
Thank you, Maebh.
Okay.
Now, if you were to take an action that would cause a cairn to be violated, and this is the one thing that every single tribe in the nation agrees on 100%, the sentence is death. That is a
Okay.
sentence I've judged before. That is a sentence I've carried out before.
Whoa, someone actually tried to defile it? Like
Hmm.
50% knowing what they were doing?
Trying is not common amongst the Gaian people. Doing something fucking foolhardy, causing a chain of events that led. And Olaf just kind of looks away.
Suffice it to say, a lot of different circumstances come into play. First, a confirmation of the violation of the Karen must be made, and afterwards evidence must be followed to those who are responsible, and then whether or not the violation was intentional or not. All these circumstances are mostly resolved by the Philodox's own investigation.
Indeed. I take that.
Don't worry, you don't know enough to even try.
True.
And we'll be looking out for you. As long as you're not going into the city, you shouldn't bring back any worm taint, so it's nothing you have to be afraid of yet.
Okay.
Either way, and this is a good thing to do, I do it myself. If for any reason you have to journey near the Cairn Heart, or the Cairn period, get a rite of cleansing done on you. Just right away. Removes doubt. For instance, there is a very powerful Dirge here. Chases the Storm Raya. Athro, 4th rank. Good Guru. He's also, I believe, still Right Master, unless I slept through something.
Nope, just slept through the night.
He lives near it. You may at times have to go to him. So be mindful.
I will.
Good. Well, I believe that about covers it. I have things to which I must attend. You've already had a lot dropped on you. Rest. Enjoy the company of these two Garou. Oh, and your training starts tomorrow, 5 a.m. sharp.
Okay. You don't seem to mind the hour, so probably already using.
Yeah.
She's probably already familiar with an early morning routine.
Yeah.
There you go.
At which point Olaf nods and exits the cabin.
So, that was a lot, Lucas says as he's going to go ahead and take a quick look at the leftovers and shovel some stuff into a food bowl.
I think I need to eat something and perhaps write those stuff.
I wouldn't suggest writing anything down quite yet, none until you get your own security protocols. We all have security protocols. I have about 20 whenever I write something down.
So
But
I
if you
can
wanna-
write things even here if I'm going to let my notes in here.
You know what? As long as you keep them in that safe box in the back of the room, I don't see no concern.
Yeah, I don't plan on taking them anywhere. It's just to make sure I don't forget anything. So I can read everything I learned during the day at night before I sleep.
You will learn quite a number of things. You'll be retaught all these lessons, probably in more detail, quite a lot. As I said in the beginning, this is your job. You are simply a learner. You are here to learn exactly where your place is in this new world.
Yeah, I'm just terrified of making a mistake and being killed.
We all make mistakes.
Yeah, but I I would
You're
rather not push my luck.
This is the time to make mistakes. While we're cubs, we are kind of, essentially, we're like children. So there's a certain leeway to make mistakes, and they will go lighter on us because we are still learning. Admittedly, in my case, I've been a cub for a very long time, and so they are not nearly so light-handed with me anymore. But if you're going to make those mistakes, this will be the time to do it. So don't be too terribly afraid, as long as you don't find a way to taint the cairn or something, which I can't fathom you doing. I don't think you're in for much trouble.
remember that you can always run to the Den Father, and you'll meet other people that you can run towards if you feel like you're out of your element.
Yeah, I probably will run a lot people to make sure I'm not doing shit.
Like I said,
I
open
found
invitation.
this awesome new murderous fuzzy murder machine alive. I just want to make it right at least.
Well, like I said, open invitation. My door is sometimes locked. Sometimes, not a lot, actually.
Okay.
Actually, some portions are locked. Some portions are left
No, then just
unlocked intentionally to go ahead and give you the idea that it is unlocked, but all the really good nifty secrets are like behind 3 padlocks at least, I think. Or how do I go ahead and lock a beaded curtain? I don't think I can. Looks over to Maebh. Can I lock a beaded curtain?
No.
look, I can unlock a lot of doors, and I would rather not. So if we could like make it simpler.
Really? Lucas's eyes go ahead and light up. You know how to deal with a tumbler lock?
With a what? I'm sorry, I didn't understand it.
A tumbler lock, a regular padlock.
Yeah, I know how to unlock lots of things. I was arrested for it.
You and I are going to have a lot of fun, I guarantee it.
Yeah. As long as I don't go to jail, probably.
Well, I don't think any of us has gone to jail yet. Kind of hard to catch, but with our being able to step into the spirit world and all that other silly shit.
Yeah, and well, if you guys need some help around with plumbing or need some fixing on the roof or whatever, I can also do it.
Much
I
appreciated.
used, I used to work with it.
There's not nearly enough of us that know anything about construction.
Yeah, I'm good at fixing things. And, you know, woodworking.
Well, I've only just started to learn that myself.
Yeah, I'm very good at it, actually. I
Huh.
used to make some stuff to sell to help my family.
That's awesome.
I was sort of a jack of all trades.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I never thought someone would actually see my skills as a good thing. But yay.
Whatever skill set that you can bring into the nation is well appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
But for now, I think I am due at the shelter, actually, to be quite honest.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think I need to eat and rest for a bit finally, if I can. And I
Mhm.
need call my mom and I'll say I don't know, on a long trip or
Yep.
something like that.
Well, we have 2 spare rooms still here. So, I mean, there are beds in there and everything for you. I've got spare sheets and stuff.
Thank
And
you.
if before you crash out, write down your address for me. And if you have a house key or something, go ahead and pass it off. And I'll see if I can get some of the kinfolk to go and retrieve your things.
Look, I don't have even an ID. Everything is on the fast food restaurant.
Okay. And she'll kind of cast a glance at Lucas. You think you can get in there if we have to?
Yeah, sure. I can either get there before the investigation or I can get there after the investigation. I don't think they will take anything from the employee lockers, to be quite honest.
Yep. Just write down your address for him real fast. We'll make sure someone gets your stuff.
Okay. If you guys get something for her to write, she will write her
Mhm.
address, even her phone number, because her cell phone is still there.
Awesome. Lucas will go ahead and collect that information, and as he goes ahead and walks out, places the bowl, probably goes ahead and rinses it, takes himself a fruit cup, goes ahead and turns around, and like I said, feel free to go ahead and keep your new little friend there, pointing at the plushie.
Thanks a lot for the plushie.
Yeah, no problem. And with that, Lucas is going to go ahead and vamoose.
Like you do. And with that, Maeve will kind of turn to her and grin a little bit and gesture down the hallway. There are 2 empty rooms. You can pick whichever one you want. And we can go ahead and have something to eat and you can crash out. Training is pretty early.
Yeah, it's actually I get half an hour more to sleep than I used to.
Oh, good.
So yeah, and thanks. And oh, she will probably call her mom, eat something, and go try to sleep at least, which will be very hard since terrible day.
Well then, with the lot of them going their separate ways, eating, going to bed, and whatnot, I suppose we can say thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. And we'll see you next time on another episode of Living World of Darkness, Rage Across New York.